Good Yontiv.
Good Yontiv.
Good Yontiv, Cantor. How are you doing on this Yom Kippur?
Rabbi. How are you?
Ever so great.
I know.
How was dinner?
Dinner was quick.
Was it quick? Yeah.
Yes. How was yours?
I'm still hungry.
You're still hungry?
Yeah, that's not a good start, is it? It's not a good start.
No. I don't think you're going to get to eat for a
No.
while.
Alvin, how do I sound?
Turn the lights up and down.
Keep talking? All right. I'm good at that. I'm a rabbi. Good Yontiv. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And welcome to Temple Emanu-El's High Holiday Services. We're going to call this the Kol Nidre version of our High Holiday Services. For those of you that are here at the beautiful Heritage Theater, and for those of you that are online, we welcome you to Temple Emanu-El's High Holiday Services. We welcome our longtime members as well as those of you that are joining us for the first time. As we say to you, Bruchim Habaim, and welcome. I invite you actually to take a look at pages 4 through 8. You'll see there's a variety of meditations, one-liners, paragraphs. I'm going to invite you just to take a moment in the beginning of this Kol Nidre service to read something that may kind of pertain to you. For some of you, it may be just the act of praying is a challenge. And I would take a look on page 5 and look at that reading, Praying is More. That may be something you want to read. For some, it may be the issue of fasting in general. You may want to take a look at one about Yom Kippur on page 7. So I invite you now to pick a reading, and we'll regather in a moment. Page 9. For all those who perished in the Shoah, the Holocaust, for all those that died this year, for all those who suffered a loss, for all those who suffered infertility, for all those who lost an ability, I light this memorial candle. Baruch atah Adonai notea b'tochenu chayei olam. You are blessed, Eternal One, who blesses within us life everlasting.
It is my honor to invite up Cheryl Magat to kindle the lights of Yom Kippur.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us, guided by the flame of conscience. On this sacred night, we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness on this atonement night. We give thanks for love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel yom ha'kippurim. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, and giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Yom Kippur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the life within us, and bringing us to this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom ha'kippurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
And now that we've officially welcomed Yom Kippur, I invite you to welcome the person next to you. Wish them a good Yontiv. Maybe introduce yourself to someone you don't know and wish them a good Yontiv. All right, you want to go on with the service or what? Boy, you are such schmoozers. It's fantastic. We have to make up for not having an oneg, you know.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the issue. That's
Yes.
the issue. Right. One of my favorite new customs we started about a decade ago is, it's a little ritual, but it means so much to me, and I hope it means a lot to you, and that is that we have this opportunity to give a little thankfulness, give a little gratitude to those that have been presents of this congregation in years past. For without them, we would not be the congregation we are now. So it's my tradition not to read every name, because we've been around for 157 years, and that's been a few presidents. But what I do like to do is to name the names of those that you may be related to or you're here yourself. Of course, we'll start with the first one because just hearing someone who served in 1861 is so cool. But upon hearing the name of either your name or the name of your family member, I invite you to please rise. We think of Jacob Levy of blessed memory, who served 1861 to 1863 and 1865 to 1871 and 1872 to 1875. No one else would do it, and he did it for 11 years. Max Blum of blessed memory, 1922 to 1925. Dr. Bert Hirsch of blessed memory, 1935 to 1936. Maurice Engelman, who just died over a year ago, 1939 to 1949, his brother. Herman Burns, Zichron Livracha, 1949 to 1951. Milton Fox, of blessed memory, 1951 to 1953. The Honorable George Barnett, of blessed memory, 1961 to 1963. Sherm Neymark, of blessed memory, 1961 to 1965. Julian Forrester, of blessed memory, 1968 to 1969. Monroe Watkins, 1969 to 1971. Phil Hammer, 1971 to 1973. Look at that young man over there. Lee Axelrod, 1974 to 1976, of blessed memory. Cecil Weintraub, of blessed memory, 1976 to 1977. Harold Kahn, of blessed memory, 1977 to 1978. Reuben German, 1978 to 1979. Dr. Michael Kahn, 1979 to 1981, 1994 to 1996, and 2011 to 2012. And Jane Schwartz is back with us. Yay, she moved back into town, 1981 to 1983. We'll have her son stand for her, that's right. Bob Crandell, of blessed memory, 1983 to 1986, and 2006 and 2007. Bert Burns, 1986 to 1988. All right, that's great. Corinne Ravel-Retchen, 1988 to 1990. Rick Davis, of blessed memory, 1990 to 1992. Bob Hirsch, 1996 to 1998. And my first, Hank Stein, 1998 to 2000. Barry Cohen, 2000, 2002, and 2007. Steve Greenberg, 2002 to 2004 and 2009. Dan Lee, 2004 to 2006. Ruth Crandell, blessed memory, 2007 to 2008. Laura Danoff Robinson, 2009, 2011. Jeff Hoffman, 2012 to 2014. Andrew Weinberg, 2014 to 2018. Nice. And I invite the entire congregation to lift your hands with Cantor and I as we have this opportunity to bless these amazing pillars of our congregation as they have blessed us.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and may God keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's radiance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may God always be a source of strength, of wholeness, completeness, and peace in your lives and the lives of your family, as we all say, Amen. Thank you for your service. I invite you all to please rise as we turn to page 14. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidre, its sacred portal, a night of deep emotions, a night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling. We rejoice at the sound of Kol Nidre, rhythmic words of release From vows, oaths, and promises to God we fail to keep. We tremble at the melody, music of spiritual amazement. It fills us with awe as we stand before God in Torah. We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility. We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfection, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding. We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deeply and think so nobly. We tremble, for we find that our ideals are far greater than our ability. Our promises surpass our might. We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidre's true gift, the freedom to begin a new year without fear of failure, to aspire to be God's image in the world. We tremble because we are mortal. We rejoice in our gratitude for life. We rejoice with trembling and enter Kol Nidre to face our humanity. Page 19. Let our speech be pure and our promises sincere. Let our spoken words, every vow and every oath, be honest and well-intentioned. Let our words cause no pain, bring no harm, and never lead to shame, distrust, or fear. And if, after honest effort, we are unable to fulfill a promise, a vow, or an oath, may we be released from its obligation and forgiven for our failure. Let our speech be pure and our promises sincere. Please be seated. Please rise. We continue on page 22. Please be seated as we continue on page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmeretehem barakia kirtzono. Orei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'hoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shmo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv arvim.
Page 25. Day and night are yours, creative spirit of the universe, the muted colors of twilight, the radiance of dawn. Yours are the spreading wings of light, the deepening shadows of darkness, and ever-changing drama. In the human heart, too, the struggle between darkness and light unfolds. From sunlit heights of generosity, the human heart sinks to the gloomy depths of selfishness. Although we fall, you give us the strength to rise again. You call on those who are hurt through word or deed, to break free from wrongdoing and return to you. All who hear your call to goodness are embraced. All who reject emptiness and evil find acceptance from you. We come into your presence this night of Kol Nidre, aware that our shortcomings and weaknesses are many. Yet encouraged by your promise of forgiveness, we choose freely the path of repentance, restoring wholeness to our lives and holiness to the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Together, blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and dusk.
I'd like you all to rise, please. The page number is 27. We pause in reverence before the gift of self. The vessel shatters, the divine spark shines through, and a solitary self becomes a link in Israel's golden chain. For what we are by sharing, and as we share, we move toward the light. We pause in reverence before the mystery of a presence, the near and far reality of God. Not union, but communion is our aim. And we approach the mystery with deeds. Words lead us to the edge of action, but it is deeds that bring us closer to the God of light. We pause in terror before the human deed, the cloud of annihilation, the concentrations for death, the cruelly casual way of each to each. But in the stillness of this hour, we found our way from darkness into light. May we find our life so precious that we cannot but share it with the other, that light may shine brighter than 1,000 suns, with the presence among us of the God of light.
continue with Ve'ahavta on pages 30 and 32.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובגומך, וקשרתם באותות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Set these words which I command you upon this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. Thus you will become holy to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, am your God.
Please join us on page 39.
Our sages taught it is proper to mention the exodus from Egypt in our morning prayers and also at night.
We celebrate the going out from Egypt in the morning light, full of confidence and vigor as we enter the new day.
But the evening, weary from the day's exertion, cast down and fearful at the coming of the night, what can the exodus teach us then?
Our nighttime prayer brings hope and trust in the future. As God did not abandon our people long ago through the long, dark night of exile, so the Holy One will be with us in time to come. To stand by the one you love, that is the truest essence of faithfulness, the meaning of Emunah.
So it is written in the Psalms to proclaim your kindness in the morning and your faithfulness in the nights.
Sing with joy in the mornings of your life, when light surrounds you and the world seems beautiful and good, and in the evenings in your life, when you dwell in sorrow and the world seems dark. Do not despair.
Continue in the middle of page 40.
Adonai Top of page 43. When fears multiply and dangers threaten, when sickness comes, when death confronts us, it is God's blessing of shalom that sustains us and upholds us, lightening our burden, dispelling our worry, restoring our strength, renewing our hope, and reviving us.
Page 45. כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם, לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם, לפני אדוני תתארו. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו amen.
We continue with our tefillah on page 46 and following. Please rise if you are able.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imaot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ava. Zochrenu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim. Hoshia, Morid Hatal. Leachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai,
Baruch hu u'baruch shemo,
Mechayeh hakol.
Page 53. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom ya'alucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day, selah. We join together in the English. And so in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. join together on page 54. And so, in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection. We continue on page 56 together. And so, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the world of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. We continue on page 62. Please be seated. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את היום כיפורים הזה. In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this Yom Kippur, a day on which our wrongs are forgiven with love, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Together, our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. Be it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness. Together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel, may we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this Day of Atonement.
Top of page 63. Like smoke above the altar, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. As Israel once came to you with offerings from the flock, so we bring to you the offerings of our mouth, not lip service, but heartfelt prayer. So the prophet taught, "Return, O Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to Adonai. Accept the words we set before you, awkward and imperfect as they are, our hesitant questions, our corrosive doubts. Accept too our silences, our thoughts that rise in the stillness, our faith that coheres for a fragile instant, and dissipates like smoke above the altar."
Page 64. Zachrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova,
Amen.
ufokteinu bo livracha,
Amen.
v'hoshenu bo l'chayim.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Together, favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us the depth of your care. God, we await your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion. We continue on page 72. continue now individually on page 79, either reading what's on the page or listening to the words inside our hearts as we pause in silent reflection. We continue with our vidui, our confession on page 82. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ay, 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 Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, ay, 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 Evinu,
Shanu,
Zadnu,
Zadnu,
Chamasnu,
Chamasnu,
Tafalnu Sheker,
Tafanu Sheker,
ay, 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 Ya'atznura,
Ya'atznura,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Latznu,
Latznu,
Maradnu,
Maradnu,
Niatznu,
Niatznu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Pashanu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Kishinu Oref,
Kishinu Oref,
ay, 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 Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatnu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Tainu,
Tainu,
Titanu,
Titanu,
ay, 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 ay,
We continue on page 86 in the English as we join together, page 86. For these sins, our God, we ask for forgiveness, the ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths, the ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused in your world through careless speech, the ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor, the ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers, the ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor, the ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Page 88, we join together. The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by losing self-control. The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink. The ways we have wronged you by giving into our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through greed and exploitation. The ways we have wronged you through cynicism and scorn, and harm we have caused in your world through arrogant behavior, page 90. The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech. the ways we have wronged you with the slanderous tongue, and harm we have caused in your world through a selfish or petty spirit. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Page 93. God, our Creator and Guide, let us speak now of the healing acts by which we bring you into the world, the acts of repair that make you a living presence in our lives. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha. Together for the act of healing we have done openly or anonymously, and for the act of repair we have done without personal gain. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done by seeking forgiveness, and for the act of repair we have done by forgiving others. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done through righteous giving, and for the act of repair we have done by opening our hearts. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done by comforting the mourner and visiting the sick, and for the act of repair we have done by pursuing justice and human rights, fairness and civility. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done by making peace between one person and another, and for the act of repair we have done by protecting nature and all its creatures. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done by teaching our children the ways of peace, and for the act of repair we have done by teaching our children the ways of Torah. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the act of healing we have done by honoring elders and loving the stranger, and for the act of repair we have done in response to your commandment, choose life and blessing, vow kulam, and all these bring nearer the day when you shall be one and your name shall be one. Page 96. Together, let our needs rise up with the darkness, our cries with the rays of the sun. All day our praise is before you, songs of joy and bliss till evening comes. May our voices soar at nightfall, our just deeds shine forth with the light. All day we await deliverance, fervent our hope for redemption till evening comes. Let our suffering ascend at twilight, our forgiveness with the break of dawn. All day we sigh for oppression, cry out for right and justice till evening comes. May there be refuge when night surrounds us, at sunrise safe haven for your sake. All day our words rise from a sea of sorrow, and they break in waves of atonement till evening comes. Next page, together, let evening bring salvation, let morning make all hearts pure. This day our prayers spell healing, peace, peace to all, far and near, till evening comes. May mindfulness of us rise with the evening star, our worthy deeds revealed in the radiance of dawn. All day we meditate on life's beauty, the precious jewels of creation, till evening comes. that are pounding on the gates of mercy, thunder on high as darkness falls. And with dawn, let the joy of renewal arrive. The day holds the urgency of our prayers, confessions of the heart, lamentations of the soul, till evening comes. May our yearnings rise above the shadows of dusk. May the searching of our souls reach you in the morning. All day our praise is before you. May it be acceptable, may it be received, till evening comes. We continue on page 112. Please rise if you're able. Avinu Malkeinu, illumine for us the path of our life. Together, Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we find the strength to take the road less traveled by? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we come to know the purpose of our existence? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we learn not to live life in vain? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we get out of our indifference? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we distinguish between truth and falsehood? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we find the answers to our questions? Avinu Malkeinu, how shall we gird ourselves with strength to seek answers? Avinu Malkeinu, be gracious to us, answer us, empower us, and give us courage, for the answers are both in you and with you. We continue on page 114 as we join together in the English. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Mola
Every year in the Bar and Bat Mitzvah preparatory class, I assign journal entries for the students to write reflections. One of the questions I ask every year is, how does it feel to be Jewish in your school? Over the years, I've generally read positive comments in response to the question. Most students were able to be out as Jews. For the last couple of years, I'm starting to get responses that really concern me, like, I don't bring it up in class, or I never talk about it because there's a bully in school who talks a lot about Nazis, or whenever a topic comes up about Judaism, the teacher always asks me because I'm the only Jew in the class. It is really uncomfortable. And these feelings are not uncommon for us. My friends, there is a growing epidemic in American society, and that is hate. And it's coming out of a greater divisiveness in almost every aspect of our society. Groups are being pitted against each other. The ease by which our fellow Americans can say hateful and prejudiced statements to one another, the way groups are being demonized while free and thoughtful speech is under attack. We as American Jews are not immune to this epidemic. In fact, the Jewish community in America is a growing target for all sorts of hatred and anti-Semitic comments. I'm aware that for many of our veterans of life that have experienced great prejudice when they were young, I will never forget when Bishop P.J. McGraw came to our synagogue in the early 2000s and from our bima asked our forgiveness for what the Catholic Church did and did not do during the Spanish Inquisition and the Holocaust. At that oneg that evening, there was congregant after congregant crying in the bishop's arms because of the prejudice they experienced in the East Coast or in the South when they were young children walking in front of a Catholic church on Easter or on Christmas, and the insults and the beatings they endured. The bishop was incredible that evening, but that's PJ, he's always incredible. Being from the Valley in Los Angeles, I never heard or saw that level of anti-Semitism. So that evening reminded me, or even taught me, of the sad reality of our country's past. I could never have imagined that it would get worse. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. Why? Well, we are living in difficult times when we are, like I said, being divided as a nation. It is the first time I've seen a leader divide and not try to bring people together. It is remarkable to witness. And the lack of response is truly heart-wrenching. Does no one recall the lessons they have learned from America's not-so-precious past? What our country stands for and what it has been doing are polar opposites. Our country has stood for democracy and freedom, and many of us would say until recently, our people have thrived in this country. America has been mostly good to the Jews, and compared to how we have been treated in other countries historically and in modern times, America has been good to us. So what is happening? I think the American Jewish community has lost a step or two in its game. Rabbi Danny Gordis, who was a professor of mine some 30 years ago, made Aliyah and is a Koret Distinguished Fellow at Jerusalem Shalem College, writes weekly for the J Post and other periodicals. He wrote an article on the recent nation-state law passed by the Knesset, Israeli parliament, in which he references Israel's reaction to American Jews and the Druze community in Israel. He states, from an article he wrote for the J Post, it is ironic, even if understandable, that when millions of American Jews expressed their indignation, Israel did not so much as blink. While the anger of the much smaller Druze community has led to significant soul-searching, including calls by some far-right members of the government, like Minister Naftali Bennett, to revise the law's language, unquote. I think this is very telling. There was a time when the American Jewish community's opinion and support was vital to Israel's existence. Just think of the great Golda Meir, who came to the United States to raise money for the from the Jewish community so that she could buy weapons for Israel to defend itself during the War of Independence. Of course, the United States government has given lots of financial resources to Israel, but that is not because of you and I. That is because of the United States' interests in the region. And as much as the Obama administration gave more financial support to Israel than any previous president, Prime Minister Netanyahu disrespected him and crossed several lines of professional decency to make him look bad to Israelis. The result of that was greater disconnection between American Jews and Israel and a greater loss of the significance we once had. Ironically, the support the current American administration is giving to Israel has made it even harder for us here in America. David Rothkopf, a senior fellow at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies, writes the following: Israel was and is the United States' closest ally in the Middle East. But today, time has taken its toll on that relationship, and the reflexive support once expected from a generation of American leaders is now increasingly being questioned. For some Americans, this shift had a different character, a deeper, more emotional component. Many American Jews felt a special tie to Israel. They had relatives there, or they attended a synagogue that promoted the relationship, or they were touched personally by the Holocaust. It was also expected that even if the relationship between the United States and Israel evolved, this bedrock relationship would remain immovable, unchanging. As increasing number of American Jews who were once almost seen to have a duty to support Israel now found themselves, thanks to their American values, those that held democracy and tolerance and human rights dear were now discovering they had a duty to question Israel's top officials and the policies they embraced. Further, as Israel played an ever greater role in inflaming tensions in the region, those questions grew. Now, however, we have reached a watershed. The game changer was the zealotry of Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government itself. Rothkopf believes that the passage of the nation-state law effectively demolishes every reason for supporting the state of Israel that once existed for many American Jews and for an increasing number of Americans. He says, hardest still for many American Jews, it flies in the face of cherished Jewish values and the lessons of Jewish history, so much so that it makes Israel in many respects an un-Jewish state. Wow, just wow. You may not like hearing what he has to say, but we need to hear these comments. He is correct that this makes Israel a less desirable ally because it becomes harder and harder to defend politically and morally. Israel is viewed by many in our country as playing a more inflammatory role. Rothkopf points out one of the biggest problems facing Jews in America is, quote, a growing number of Americans and American Jews have gone from a sense of duty to support Israel's leaders to a duty to question them, to a duty to actively oppose them and the government that enforces their policies. This is a harsh and heartbreaking reality, unquote. Being Jewish in America has generally included support of Israel at almost all costs. Now there are layers and nuances to our support that creates a divided Jewish American community. So too, with greater divisiveness in our society means that gray areas are abandoned to the simpler black and white arguments. You're either for Israel or against Israel, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. The recent mass protest in Tel Aviv against the nation-state law is a promising development, as there are over 100,000 who protested. And this could have a very positive effect in the Jewish American community, because Americans and others worldwide who retain hope for a more just and equitable Israel should not only be hopeful for Israel, but should lend their support to such demonstrations and the movements of which they are a part. The trend of American support for Israel by officially moving the capital, by pulling support for Palestinian humanitarian efforts, and for blindly following Prime Minister Netanyahu's policies has done more to hurt the American Jewish community than anything. It has given fuel to professors on university campuses to spew anti-Israel sentiments that then inflame anti-Semitism. And let's be very clear, anti-Israel is the new anti-Semitism. This is what happens when you lose a nuance in a situation. It has, like I said, become a black and white issue. Israel is good or bad. This flawed argument ultimately makes little sense. I may not agree or even dislike and criticize my own American government, but that does not mean I do not love our country and what it stands for. It is like that not-so-old idea that if you do not support a war, you do not support our troops and our country. This flawed argument helps to create greater divisiveness around us and keeps us away from having the real conversations we need to be having. We have become a reactive, simplistic reality television show. And you know what? Jews do not do well historically in such situations. We do better with nuance and discussion. There is no one truth, and so dialogue and listening to other opinions is so important, and we have seemingly lost that skill in this country. So, for American Jews, it is very hard for us to dialogue when those around us are making everything so black and white. Tomorrow I will try to talk about Israel in a fair and helpful manner. The question will be, can we collectively see the good and the bad? Can we look at ourselves and our spiritual homeland through integrity-filled lenses, where we can talk about the layers that are positive and those things that are negative? Can we engage in conversations about Israel while also being objective and fair? It is time for revolution, a revolution in the American Jewish community. Every Jew in this country should be affiliated with a synagogue, and every Jew should become a student of Israel, both historically and in its current state. So too, our work with interfaith organizations must increase. We need to continue building relationships with our Muslim siblings. In the next couple of months, you will hear about opportunities for dialogue with our Muslim sisters and brothers. Please take yourself out of your comfort zone and join me. We cannot let the media or our leaders dictate who and what we are. We must teach who we are through our active participation in our interfaith community. That is why during the last 19 plus years, my number one activity outside of my congregational duties is interfaith work. Be it an Interfaith Council on Economic Justice for Silicon Valley, helping to create the precursor of Civic, Silicon Valley's Interfaith Council, with my buddy Iman Tahir, Anwar, and the very late and great Reverend Andrew Keeley. Civic was born out of a conversation that Iman Tahir and I had with our committee after we grew tired of just having a public interfaith gathering at the Circle of Palms next to Cesar Chavez Park in downtown San Jose, which we began doing after 9/11. So too, a classmate and I recently co-chaired the creation of the Interfaith Dialogue Group with American Leadership Forum, and we are going to partner with a local mosque to do some more dialogue and shared experiences. In the end, it is all about the conversations. Our emeritus rabbi of blessed memory, Joe Gittin, was one of the three unholy trinity, as they named themselves, who created the Interfaith Council. So we have a long tradition at Emanu-El working in the interfaith community. If you want to reverse the trend and strengthen our community, this is the time to engage in conversation. This is the time to stand up for what we believe in. This is the time to show our pride as Jews and as Americans. Even if both countries are being led poorly at this moment, we know that will change, because we're going to change it. We cannot continue to respond from a defensive posture. We must become more offensive in our playbook. If we want to strengthen the American Jewish community, we must get involved with our local issues and our national issues. We must show that we are not a monolithic community, but a community that can discuss hard realities without demonizing the other. We can demonstrate what we are about by calling ourselves out when we need to be called out, and calling out others when they need a reality check. But we must support each other and our different views. We are a people who traditionally would bring up all points of view, and our argumentation was based on information and facts, not on opinion or popularity. Our decisions must be based on what is just and fair for everyone. And for the record, there's no such thing as alternative facts. When I was a student rabbi over a quarter century ago, I was exposed to parts of the United States I never had been exposed to before. One of my student pulpits was in Niagara Falls, New York. The average age of the congregation was about 8,000 years old. So after my duties Saturday night, which were really early, they went to bed very early in that congregation. I would go to the hotel desk and talk with the employees behind the desk. And since I was there every other weekend for about a year and a half, we became friendly over time. And we would all go out after their shift was over and my duties were over. One day as I was hanging out with them at the front desk, an irate man came to them and was upset with the bill. And he used the phrase, "You Jewed me!" You Jewed me. Once he said that, the employees behind the desk looked at me with shock. I, of course, spoke up and expressed myself. I may have been a little reactive. But my takeaway was that those employees were shocked and upset because they had built a relationship with me. Because of that relationship, they were offended as well. It is all about relationships. And those relationships come out of a feeling, a sense of connection with the other. And through that kesher, that connection, we create relationships so that we look at another as a person, not as the Jew or as the Muslim, but as my brother, my sister, a fellow human being. It may be hard to be Jewish in America right now, but we have a huge opportunity to change the energy. We are not in Nazi Germany. And if we continue to build greater relationships, we will prevent such an evil from ever occurring here. There is much happening in our beloved American society right now that disturbs us and concerns us and even makes us doubt our own democracy. This should be our wake-up call to get more involved as Jews and as Americans. I don't know about you, but I cannot separate out my identity so easily. I feel called as a Jewish American to make this country the best it can be by opening its arms to all people. Naomi Shemer was inspired by an ideal when she wrote Jerusalem of Gold. Let us be inspired to get more involved, building greater connection amongst ourselves and our neighbors. May we embrace this opportunity. Amen.
Amen.
Salol kayai, v'reachot
shall be going to the Jordan by way of Jericho. My simple voice cannot acclaim thee, too weak the words I choose. Jerusalem, if I forget thee, may my right hand its cunning lose. Jerusalem shall Zahar, Eshel Nechoshet, Eshelon, Anu Nechosherayim, Ani Dino. Jerusalem shall Zahar, Eshel Nechoshet, Eshelon, Anu Nechosherayim, Ani Dino.
My name is Richard Rusnak, and Eleanor and I have been 50-year-plus members of the temple, and I've been fortunate enough to be on the Legacy Committee. I joined in the committee when it was headed by Ruth Crandell of blessed memory, and I spent many years with her getting this thing started, and then Marvin Fox, who was just up here, was a terrific leader, and now we have Joe Riggio. We've had great leaders, and we have a great leader now. And I thank all of them for letting me represent the committee to you on these high holidays. I would like to ask all of the present members of the Lador Vador Committee, as shown on the Tree of Life display in the temple, please remain seated. Look at this. This is exciting. You know, you don't need to stand because I can look at you and see the ones that joined us. There's a glow. There's a positive, you know, it's very tough, especially after the rabbi's sermon, to be excited today and be enthralled with what being Jews means. And here, I can see you all out there, and we have 51 families. That's over 100 of you out there are part of our society, and we're very, very proud of that. We presently have over $500,000 in the bank account. Now, mind you, that's not what people have pledged, because we don't know what you pledge, and I'm going to get to that very quickly. We've set our goal at 100 members, and let me explain to you how we're going to get there. You're here for the high holidays. It's very important. We all know that, but our temple means more. Recently in the San Jose area, we had a very anti-Israel, anti-Semitic incident that our rabbi stood up and made it clear we will not tolerate such behavior. He works full speed, and you heard that tonight, on great relationships with many groups in the South Bay. At our Tashlik service at the park, there were dozens of young kids getting their Jewish experience. Anybody who was there will tell you it was truly beautiful. And our temple school, fantastic. You can't use enough adjectives to describe what we do with our school. Well, how does all of this continue for our children and their children and generations in the future? Again, the simple answer is you. Let me make it very clear. We're not asking for your money now. We're asking you to commit in your will an amount for the temple. If things are great financially, that figure could rise. If illness and bad fortune, it would fall. We understand that, but we want you to commit. Even if you don't have a lot of money, put something in your will for the temple. Let us know so that we can put you on the committee. Join us. Get the inner feeling of doing good as you support Lador Vador from generation to generations. Thank you, and Shona Tova.
Shana Tova.
L'Shana Tova. My name is Sherry Wiesner, and I am honored to be here representing Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees this evening. It's a pleasure to see all of you here, and those of you who are live streaming our service, and to be sharing Yom Kippur observance with you as one congregational family. A warm welcome to our members. It's wonderful to see you all. Please take a moment to say hello to the many new friends that are joining us today for the first time here at High Holiday Services. To those of you who are new to our congregation, please stop by our Shalom table on the right of the exit doors, where we have flyers and information on all our upcoming temple programs and activities, including Sukkot. There will be membership and temple representatives in the lobby if you have questions. Check out the poster in the lobby for times and locations for all the services and events taking place tomorrow. We want to express our thanks to Yuri Gottfeld and the Brotherhood members and friends for creating the bima you see before you. Each year they work hard to create a beautiful atmosphere where we can worship together appropriately. Thank you also to our many hardworking volunteers, temple administrative and custodial staffs, for their preparations for the services this year. We appreciate your flexibility in sharing prayer books. If you are using a temple book, there will be a place to return them as you exit. If you brought your own, please be sure to take it with you. The High Holidays continue after Yom Kippur with an array of Sukkot events. On Erev Sukkot, Sunday, September 23rd, please bring your own dinner, a dessert to share, and decorate the sukkah, followed by a Sukkot experience led by Rabbi Magat and Cantor Edmondson. For those of you in your 20s and 30s, join us on Tuesday, September 25th at 6:00 p.m. for Sushi in the Sukkah. A fun evening of free sushi and schmoozing with Cantor Edmondson. RSVP on Facebook by September 21st. On Wednesday evening, September 26th, we have Scotch in the Sukkah. And on Thursday evening, September 27th at 6 p.m., join Rabbi Magat and Cantor Edmondson for sangria in the sukkah. Of course, non-alcoholic alternatives will also be available. RSVP online, please. The senior youth group, grades 8 through 12, will be having a sleepover in the sukkah at Temple Emanu-El on Saturday, September 29th, starting at 6 p.m. Bring your sleeping bag and enjoy the festival of Sukkot with your friends. RSVP to Easy. And I'm certain that one has no alcohol. Erev Simchat Torah is on Sunday, September 30th. There will be a pizza dinner for all at 5:00 p.m., followed by a Simchat Torah service and a fun evening, including Israeli dancing, unrolling the Torah around the sanctuary, and the consecration of new students in our religious school. Everyone is invited for this wonderful evening as we conclude the High Holidays. The final service of this High Holiday season will be the Simchat Torah morning and Yizkor service at 9:00 a.m. on Monday, October 1st in the chapel. Save the date for Shabbat in Nature at Yuvis Canyon County Park on November 3rd. The day will include a Shabbat morning service, a potluck lunch, discussion, music, and group or individual hiking. No need to RSVP for this event, just come. During the High Holidays, we collect non-perishable packaged food for the needy in our community. Please deposit your food donations in one of our collection barrels located in the lobby, here, or at Temple Emanu-El through Simchat Torah. I hope you are coming back for the Nila service tomorrow at 5:00 p.m. We encourage you to bring your shofar so that we can surround the sanctuary with a communal blast. And last, but definitely not least, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank all of you who have already donated to the Temple's annual campaign. We are so grateful for the generous support we receive each year from you, our fellow congregants. If you have not had a chance to make a donation yet this year, please note that campaign pledge cards are provided for you in your handouts, and you can drop them in one of the 2 drop boxes in the lobby of the theater. All donation amounts are deeply appreciated. I want to take this time to wish you and your families a very happy New Year, one filled with good health and peace. May you have an easy fast and Gemar Hatima Tova, or Shana Tova.
We continue on page 117 with Elenu. Please rise if able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 119. May the time not be distant, our God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Page 121. Preparing for the prayer of memory. This holy night concludes with memory. Our last thoughts always are of those we have lost. We miss them especially tonight, yearning for their presence at our side. The service we have shared once was theirs. They spoke and sang the ancient words. They prayed, repented, and yearned for better lives as we have done. Flawed in their deeds, imperfect in their faith, they still drew strength from their tradition as we seek fortitude in ours. What was good and beautiful in their lives once gave us joy and now inspires us to reach higher. The knowledge that they loved us deeply brings comfort to our hearts. So we light candles of remembrance and gratitude, and we speak this timeless truth. Zichronam livracha. Their memory is a blessing, now and forever. We pray that their goodness will live on in our lives, planting seeds of kindness and hope for generations to come. As we turn to page 122 to recite our Mourner's Kaddish, I remind you of the two additional words added in the middle. You'll see them in the gray bolded area. We join together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba. ועמד דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביום איכון, ובחיי תכל בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב, יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעולם ולעלמא מכל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. Page 126, the last paragraph. Be'ado. רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שתחדש עלינו שנה טובה ומתוקה, our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year, may it be a sweet year, as we all say, Amen. This concludes our, well said, from the mouth of babes. Good Yom Tov. See you tomorrow morning.